and welcome to Long Live the Queen, where we talk about the women who made history. And by we, I mean the royal we, because it's just me. Today we're going to talk about Marie of Cleves. Marie of Cleves burst into the world on September 19th, 1426. Schwanenberg Castle looms over the Rhine River, its toned towers piercing the sky heavy with mist. The air hums with the clink of armored knights and the screech of falcons and the distant lilt of a minstrel's lute. Europe is in the thick of the 100 Years' War. Joan of Arc is out there. She's a peasant girl, hearing divine whispers, while kings and dukes play chess with kingdoms. Into this world burst Marie of Cleves, the youngest of 8 children born to Adolph I, Duke of Cleves, and Marie of Burgundy, a couple whose bloodlines tied them to the dazzling drama-filled Burgundian court. Fun fact for the Tudor fans, Adolph I is the great-great-grandfather of Anne of Cleves, Henry VIII's fourth wife, the one who dodged the axe and kept her head. Check out her episode for the full vibe. That makes Marie Anne's great-grandaunt, because medieval royalty's family tree is less of a tree and more of a knotted tapestry of ambition and inbreeding. Marie's childhood wasn't all fairy tale gowns and spun sugar. Schwanenberg was a fortress of stone and secrets, where torchlit corridors echoed with the clatter of goblets and the rustle of fur-trimmed cloaks. Her mother, Marie of Burgundy, was no ordinary noblewoman. She was the daughter of John the Fearless, Duke of Burgundy, assassinated on a bridge in a plot straight out of Game of Thrones. Her siblings included Philip the Good, the ultimate Burgundian power player, and Margaret of Navarre, whose own episode spills the tea on all of that. Growing up in Cleves, little Marie darted through the halls, alive with envoys, swapping coded whispers over mulled wine, her quick feet dodging her big brother John I's clumsy wooden sword swings. She'd sneak honey-drenched tarts from the kitchen, her giggles a rogue melody in the castle's somber stone. But don't let the tarts fool you. This wasn't a carefree Disney princess life. Cleves was a political hotspot. Its chapel stuffed with relics like a saint's bone that Adolf flaunted as its status symbol. He was like, hey, have you heard? I'm in possession of a saint's bone. Marie's days blended Latin lessons, psalms, and falconry. Those hawks screeched like divas in the courtyard, and pint-sized Marie probably begged to hold one. They were big on falconry there. Her mother ran a tight ship, drilling the kids in piety, charm, and strategy. Noble Kid 101. With 7 siblings, including the future Duke John and scheming sister Catherine, Marie was the baby. But she learned fast. In a noble family, being the youngest doesn't mean powerless. It means you watched, you listened, and you mastered the art of survival. By her teens, Marie was no longer just a kid with sticky fingers and a smirk. She was a polished noblewoman. Silk hair braided tight, eyes that caught every glance, and a mind that read the room faster than a troubadour chasing a coin. Her sisters were married off one by one, diplomatic pawns to Bavaria, the Low Countries, you name it, they were all over. Each betrothal, a move in Cleves' alliance game. Marie watched, learning how to curtsy just low enough to flatter without groveling, how to speak when spoken to, while saying everything with a glance. She knew her time was coming, and then boom, 1440, enter Charles, Duke of Orleans. Not a dashing prince, but a widowed, 46-year-old war veteran, fresh from 25 years in English prison. This guy survived Agincourt by hiding under a pile of corpses. True story. Then he spent his captivity writing emo poetry in English and French. Romantic? Maybe. Creepy? Absolutely. At 14, Marie was barely out of braids. But this wasn't a rom-com. It was power play. Cleves and Orleans were joining forces, and Marie was the linchpin. Picture the wedding. A chilly chapel, candlelight flickering on gold-threaded tapestries, Marie gripping her bouquet like a lifeline, her heart pounding under a velvet gown. Charles' ink-stained fingers clutching a prayer book, eyes heavy with trauma and hope, whispers ripple through the pews. Envoys side-eyeing the 32-year-old age gap, muttering as a cold gold ring seals the deal. Marie's mind races. Okay, poet dude, let's make this Cleve-Orleans merger work. She was 14. But she was also trained for this, her mother's lessons in strategy kicking in like armor. Charles, the cousin and widower of Isabella of Valois, who has her own episode, she was the child bride of Richard II. She had lost her life in childbirth, and his second wife, Bonna of Armagnac, she died before he got released from prison, so I don't even think they ever met. So she's gone too. Marie, young and sharp, was his dynastic comeback. The couple settled at Blois, a Loire Valley chateau, where tapestries glowed in the firelight and poets gathered like moths to a flame. Marie, no mere trophy wife, leaned into her role. She charmed vassals with a smile that disarmed, balanced estate ledgers with a merchant's precision, and navigated the Orleans court like a snake pit of intrigue, where Charles' royal blood made him a target. As first prince of the blood, he was next in line if the Valois king faltered, keeping Marie on high alert. While Charles penned verses about lost love and captivity, Marie ran the show, her wit a blade sharper than any knight's. The good news? Marie dodged the medieval curse of teenage motherhood. Her first child didn't arrive until she was 31, sparing her the childbirth gauntlet that claimed so many of her peers. The bad news? The Orleans court was a pressure cooker. Feuding lords, rival factions, and the constant threat of betrayal. Marie adapted fast, transforming from a Cleves girl into the Duchess who could silence a room with a glance. She built her mind like a fortress, devouring books, poetry, and politics. Her presence noted from Paris to Burgundy. On September 23, 1448, word reached Marie that her father, Adolphe I, had died. Her brother, John I, took the ducal seat, and her mother retired to a nunnery, her heart heavy with grief. Marie, 22, mourned from afar, her Cleves roots a distant echo in her French life. By 1457, at 31, she gave birth to her first child, Marie of Orleans, in a candlelit chamber at Blois. The court erupted in celebration, but Marie felt the weight of dynastic duty. In 1462, at 35, she bore Louis of Orleans, a son, to carry the family's hope. Charles, now 68, was an elderly father, his health fading fast. In 1464, their youngest, Anne of Orleans, arrived. Marie was 37, Charles, 69. 3 children in 7 years after a 17-year wait cemented her legacy, but the clock was ticking. On January 4th, 1465, Charles died at 70, leaving Marie a widow at 38. Picture her in black velvet, cradling baby Anne with 7-year-old Marie and 2-year-old Louis at her side, facing a dukedom in chaos. Castles, lands, and squabbling vassals demanded her attention. Marie rolled up her sleeves, balancing ledgers and taming lords like a medieval CEO. Charles' poetry, penned in English prison, had made him France's sad boy poet laureate. But Marie was the real force. Her library at Blois was a Renaissance flex. Shelves heavy with illuminated manuscripts, with their gold leaf and vibrant inks. She wasn't just a patron, she was a poet, crafting at least 2 rondos preserved in a French library. Her verses a quiet rebellion against a world that underestimated her. Marie's son Louis, now Duke of Orleans, was the first prince of the blood, a heartbeat from the throne. King Louis XI, the universal spider, spun webs of intrigue. His lack of a surviving son kept Marie's boy in the spotlight. In 1470, Queen Charlotte's sickly son, Dauphin Charles, pushed Louis to second in line, but Marie's ambition never wavered. In 1476, she arranged Louis's marriage to Princess Joan, Louis XI's daughter, a calculated move dripping with shade. Joan was devout, but born malformed. She had a hunched back, one shoulder was higher than the other, she walked with a limp, and it was suspected that she was sterile. It was the king's attempt to neutralize the Orleans line. Savage. The wedding of Joan and Louis was no fairy tale. Joan was 12. She glowed with faith under her gold veil. Louis, 14, fumed under his jewels, seeing the marriage as a trap. For 22 years he ignored her, chased other women, and tried to annul the union. Joan, unshaken, ran her household with quiet strength, her charity work a testament to her resilience. Marie, now 49, played the long game, keeping Louis' star bright despite the king's schemes. In 1480, at 24, Marie dropped a bombshell. A secret marriage, think Chris Hemsworth, with a lute and a French accent. Silver streaked her hair, but Marie defied gossip, wedding her heart's choice in a clandestine ceremony. Her kids, especially Louis, fretted over the family's reputation, but Marie soothed things over with her signature chill. This wasn't a fling. It was Marie getting her groove back. On August 23, 1487, Marie of Cleves, 60, slipped away in a Blois chamber, her manuscripts at her bedside, her legacy etched in ink and blood. Her death left the Orleans court mourning, her tomb beside Charles a testament to her life that bent but never broke. Survived by her children, Marie, who died in 1492 at 34, Louis, who became King Louis XII in 1498, and Anne, an abbess, who died in 1491 at 27. Marie was a force. From a 14-year-old bride to a poet-duchess who shaped the Renaissance, she turned adversity into art, proving queens don't just shine, they burn. What did you think of Marie of Cleves? You can share your thoughts with me at longlivethequeenpodcast@gmail.com, slide into my DMs on Facebook or Instagram at longlivethequeenpodcast, or join the Royal Court on Patreon. Thursdays we get nostalgic. The link is in the show notes. Come vibe with us. Long live to all the queens out there, and until next time, bye.
You'll be remembered.
Thanks for listening.